in continuation of what I was saying in the last video, I think that this movement of people towards this sort of ideology, language change, this shift in how humans are supposed to be interacting with people because of people's feelings, I think is a really clear example of I think, therefore I am. I think I'm a woman and therefore I am that. And you shall address me as such. And if you don't, you can be fined or put in jail. That's where it's headed. That's where we're at in small percentages, but it's growing. It's getting worse. And these people go unchecked, and these people, well, they don't really go unchecked. It's the voice of reason that I'm hearing is male, regular men who don't have any sort of ideas that they are anything other than that, right? Those kind of men are the only logical people that I'm hearing. There are way too many women out here supporting this movement and pushing this thing that is nonsensical, and it speaks to us in a way because a lot of our thinking a lot of times is nonsensical, and we got to recognize that. And like, that's okay. That doesn't make you a nonsensical person because you're so much more than just your thoughts. Just like being a woman is so much more than the primary way in which you identify that you are female. It's so much more than that. But that is part of it, right? And I'm looking down at my tablet because there's another definition here, and it's just so many words to say. So many words to say. Heterosis normativity is a practice or system that sustains and privileges heterosexuality and binary gender while creating structural barriers for LGBTQ plus individuals. The structural barrier that I can think of regarding the LGBTQ plus people is that of the medical field, where they feel as though they are discriminated against because, or discriminated against, I don't know why, because I'm not a part of the community, so I wouldn't know. And um, in housing for trans people, as far as I understand, is also difficult to find. And being trans in a lot of cases makes it difficult to obtain employment also. So there's a lot of different things that kind of seem like are structural barriers. However, how I see it is you are choosing to act on this feeling that you have inside of you, right? And you're choosing to present yourself to the world in a way that you are very aware, because that feeling that you have lets you know that you're aware that other people would not necessarily deem what you are feeling as truth, accurate, respectable. Uh, they may not necessarily agree. You know this. And this is why you're trying to fight for the right to live, because for some reason you seem to think that people saying that you sound like a lunatic when you say you're a woman when you're not is somehow saying that you are not existing. That's lunacy. How do you conflate that? How do you take, nah, you not, your biology is important. Like, that's like what makes us different, and the way that you're separating what biology is and gender and how you're understanding these things seems to be a little bit wrong. How you take that, obviously people say it in different ways, but how you take that and say, oh, they're saying that my that I don't matter and that I don't exist. Did somebody actually say that? Trans women are trans women. Trans women are not women. Trans women are trans women. Say it with me now. Trans women are trans women. 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 Be your trans woman self. The trans part is extremely important because that's a part of the definition of what it is that you are. Who you are is in your name, what you do, and how you are as a person, but what you are, I think, aside from human, you have classes of human, two particular classes, male and female. And bringing up that there are people who are intersex or people who don't have the organs inside of their body to produce life or all of that extra stuff, bringing that in does not change the facts. It proves it because you're bringing that in because it does not align with what is normal. Normal is male and female. Normal is not having these kinds of complications because they wouldn't be complications. They would just be a part of normal life if it was normal. So heterosis normativity, I don't think is creating structural barriers. I think that the choices that you're making as a result of these feelings are causing other things to happen, such as having people not understand you, such as being unable to find a decent job, such as being unable to have sustainable housing consistently, independently, such as those things, because you're acting on a feeling you have and you expect the world to revolve around that feeling for you, with you, while you go along this journey. There are too many people making mistakes for us not to say something about the fact that this is a feeling you have. Up until recently, it was considered a mental disorder. It is a feeling that you have, and you're acting on it. That action has repercussions, ripple effects, consequences, and things that happen as a result of taking whatever action it is that you're taking. So, how dare you tell us that we are creating barriers for you when you're the one creating them for yourself? You are making the choice to transition into what you think you're supposed to be and claiming to be super happy that you're doing this while putting yourself and your body through a ridiculous amount of unnecessary stressors and changes and drugs and I'm sure other things that, in my opinion, you don't have to, but my opinion of what you should do with your life is so irrelevant because I don't live your life. I'm not you. I don't know the experience. I don't know what it's like to not feel like you belong in your body. I don't understand that feeling. I know the feeling of not wanting to be in my body. I know the feeling of wanting to have that aggressiveness and that domineering sort of energy that men have. I know that I had that because I felt as if my femininity, me being female, although it was advantageous in mischievous ways, it was something that I viewed as negative. Like, even now, every time that I display a feminine aspect of myself to myself, I be thinking that that I'm like a little girl doing something. Like my little giggling here and there, covering my face when I'm laughing, stuff like that is I see as juvenile as opposed to feminine, and it's only recently that I'm starting to see that difference because I am clearer in my thinking than I have ever been before. And being that I'm clear and level headed, I can see ridiculousness from miles away, but I don't usually speak on it. And my mouth has been shut much too long. This has been fun, and it's going to be so fantastic hearing what you have to say about what I've said. You're not being hated. We are trying to understand the logic that you have, but if we cannot understand your logic, we cannot respect what's coming out your mouth, because if it's illogical, it does not deserve respect. Not you as a person, what you're saying, what you're expecting me to do, say, and be as a result of what you're saying that is illogical. You can kiss my ass with that.